Before we start today's video, I just want to let you know, you can get your free ebook today. Simply subscribe and visit denmarkexplained.com/free to download your exclusive copy, packed with insights, tips, and stories you won't find anywhere else. It's our way of saying thank you for joining our community. Don't miss out, hit that subscribe button and start exploring today. Alright, let's get into today's video. Have you ever wondered why children in Denmark grow up not just listening to stories, but living them every single day? In Denmark, storytelling isn't just bedtime entertainment, it's one of the building blocks of childhood itself. From playgrounds to classrooms, stories shape how kids learn, connect, and see the world. And here's the surprising part. This simple tradition might be one of the secrets behind Denmark's reputation as one of the happiest countries on earth. In many parts of the world, childhood has become a race, rushing from test to test, screen to screen, with little room for imagination. But in Denmark, they've taken a different path. Instead of pushing children to memorize facts, they teach them to tell stories. It's how they build confidence, empathy, and creativity from the start. So, what happens when storytelling replaces pressure, and imagination becomes the foundation for learning? Before we continue, consider helping us out by hitting like, subscribe, and share this video. Remember, you can buy our ebooks on denmarkexplained.com/products or click the link in the description. Sustainability and green energy. Viking heritage. Welfare system. New Nordic food. Welcome to Denmark Explained, your front row seat to the hidden gems, quirky traditions, and powerful stories that make Danish culture truly unforgettable. Let's start with why storytelling isn't just a nice extra in Danish childhood, it's foundational. From very early years, children in Denmark are invited not only to listen to tales but to make them. Researchers observed that Danish children aged 5 to 7 could already tell genuine story forms, full of characters, plots, even moral themes. This is remarkable, because it reflects a cultural environment where children's stories and role-play mirror each other. A child's wolf in one story becomes the wolf in play. The princess becomes the child's friend. The tradition of storytelling runs deep. Think of folks like Hans Christian Andersen, whose fairy tales still inform Danish children's literature and play culture. But this isn't about old-school reading only. In many Danish daycare and kindergarten settings, children create their own stories, educators write them down, and children correct or extend them. This creative process gives children agency. It nurtures language, narrative skills, self-expression. And in the Danish early childhood pedagogy, which emphasizes child-centered, holistic and play-based learning, storytelling becomes one of the key tools. What that means for someone moving to or visiting Denmark: you're entering a culture where childhood isn't a passive waiting period but an active, creative narrative stage. Children are encouraged to speak, imagine, share. And what I'll show you in upcoming chapters is how this narrative mindset supports key areas: language development and social skills, sense of community, and lifelong learning. But first, stay tuned, because later I'll show you concrete examples of how storytelling is embedded in Danish daycare routines and even outside in the forests. You'll want to see that. Now let's loop into how storytelling links to language development, social interaction, and children's well-being in Denmark. When children in Denmark tell stories, something powerful unfolds. It's not just about words, it's about connection. Through storytelling, kids learn to listen, speak, and think in a structured way. Research shows that children who grow up surrounded by stories develop richer vocabularies and stronger communication skills. But what really makes this special is how storytelling builds community. In early education settings, teachers encourage children to invent stories together. One child begins, another adds a twist, a third gives the ending. This group creativity isn't random, it teaches cooperation, empathy, and confidence. You'll often hear laughter, negotiation, and excitement. These are the sounds of learning in motion. Later in the video, I'll show you how this same method is used outdoors, even during forest playtime. Storytelling also helps children handle emotions. When a child tells a story about being scared, brave, or happy, they process their feelings safely. That's why Danish educators use stories as gentle tools for social and emotional growth. It's not about correcting children's words, it's about understanding their world through them. Imagine this scene. A child tells a story about a monster who learned to share. The class cheers, the teacher smiles, and the monster becomes a hero. That's learning disguised as play, and it's one of the secrets behind why children in Denmark are so confident expressing themselves. Later, we'll explore how these everyday stories become stepping stones toward lifelong curiosity and trust. Would you prefer your child to follow a rigid curriculum or to participate in dynamic storytelling where language, identity, and friendship grow together? 2 options. A standard school-ready model. B. A storytelling-rich, child-centered Danish model. Which would you choose? Planning a trip to Denmark? Or maybe you're moving there soon? Don't just Google your way through it. Let DenmarkExplained.com be your shortcut to a smoother, smarter, and way more fun experience. At DenmarkExplained.com/products, you'll find itineraries, ready-made plans that turn confusion into unforgettable days. eBooks, packed with local insights, cultural tips, and everyday know-how. No boring history lessons, just stuff that actually helps. Expat guides, moving to Denmark? Get the info you wish someone told you before you landed. Everything's digital, everything's simple, and everything's designed to make Denmark feel less confusing and way more cozy. So skip the stress and get the guides that explain Denmark clearly, cleverly, and in plain English. Check it out now at denmarkexplained.com/products. Your trip, our tips. Let's make it amazing. If you're enjoying this video, then consider to help us out and hit like, subscribe, and share this video. Remember, you can buy our ebooks on denmarkexplained.com/products or click the link in the description. Now we'll explore how storytelling lives in everyday Danish settings, not just in a classroom but in daycare, community, and transitions. Step inside a typical childcare center in Denmark. You might see children gathered in a cozy circle after outdoor play, their cheeks still red from the cold. The teacher asks, "Who wants to tell today's adventure?" A hand shoots up. A story begins about a lost bird, a magical tree, and a brave friend. The teacher listens carefully, writes down the child's words, and soon the whole group joins in. What looks like play is actually a structured part of learning, storytelling woven seamlessly into everyday life. This approach is not limited to storytime. It flows through meals, nature walks, and art projects. Children tell stories about what they saw, felt, or imagined, building bridges between experiences and learning. Later in the video, I'll share how these small daily moments prepare children for smoother transitions when they move from daycare to school. Storytelling also strengthens community. Projects across the country even connect children from different areas, sharing their stories by letter or online. It gives every child a sense of belonging, that their words matter and that they are part of something larger. What's fascinating is that teachers act more like guides than instructors. They follow the child's curiosity, not a strict script. This freedom sparks creativity and confidence. A child who once whispered now speaks boldly, knowing their ideas are valued. And when that child steps into school, the habit of storytelling helps them adapt quickly, because they've already learned how to express, imagine, and connect. Later, we'll see how parents can join this process and help their children's voices grow even stronger. Finally, let's look at the why from a moving, relocating perspective. Why storytelling is even more important if you're coming to Denmark. If you're planning to move to Denmark or raise a family here, there's something you should know: storytelling isn't just an activity, it's a bridge. It helps children feel connected, confident, and at home in a new environment. For a child arriving in a different country, surrounded by a new language and customs, storytelling becomes a familiar path to belonging. It allows them to express who they are, even when words in the new language are still forming. Imagine your child sitting in a circle of new friends. The teacher asks them to share a story from their old home, maybe about a family tradition, a pet, or a favorite game. The teacher writes it down, reads it aloud, and the other children join in, adding their ideas. Suddenly, your child's personal story becomes part of the group's story. That moment transforms anxiety into pride. It's no longer about being the new kid, it's about being a storyteller. Storytelling also helps children navigate identity. When they tell stories about where they come from and what they experience, they make sense of their own journey. Later in this video, I'll show you how schools use simple storytelling routines to help children reflect on their feelings and progress. Through this process, Stories turn into emotional maps, guiding children as they grow in confidence and understanding. Another important point is that storytelling in Denmark doesn't stop at the school gate. Parents are encouraged to participate, to read, listen, and tell their own stories at home. A parent sharing a bedtime tale or retelling a child's day helps reinforce language and emotional connection. When families share stories in both their native and new languages, they build bridges between cultures. It shows children that their roots matter, while also helping them plant new ones. What's truly inspiring is that this method works for everyone, local families and newcomers alike. Storytelling doesn't require expensive tools or advanced language skills. All it needs is attention, imagination, and time. It's the invisible thread that ties childhood, culture, and identity together. So, if you're starting a new chapter in Denmark, remember, the best way to help your child belong is to let them tell their story, one word, one day, one adventure at a time. Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, see you in the next video, and don't forget to click on the playlist to your right to explore more about childhood, education and life in Denmark.